Hello, and welcome to our presentation. Today, we hope to provide information for students transitioning into Wofford and for the important family and friends who support them. This is the first of two Terrier talks. The first will be on June 2nd, focusing on the academic plan, and the second will be on July 7th with tips for successful registration. Both meetings are offered by the Summer Advising Team. We are a group of advisors who provide support and guidance for students throughout their transitions into Wofford and their preparation for registration. In that work, we will answer academic questions, but we're also able to refer students to other campus resources. My name is Dr. Cynthia Curry. I'm the Director of Academic Advising. We also have Mary Catherine Bradley, who is the Assistant Director of Academic Advising with a pre-health focus. Professor Lillian Gonzalez, who is a professor of accounting. Not joining us today, but also important members of the summer advising team is Professor Stephanie Baker, who is a professor of biology, and Professor John Lefebvre, who is a professor of psychology. Today, we're happy to begin our work with Wofford's new students and those who support them as we introduce human and technical resources important for the transition into Wofford. Our focus today is on knowing dates, timelines to follow, and offices and people who can answer questions. Today's meeting offers an intro into a liberal arts education. Topics covered will be purpose governing of communication, academic resources for students to explore, first year general education requirements, learning communities, the FYI tab in the new student information page, student responsibilities, a summary of resources, and important dates to remember. It's also important to know that students enter college very interested in majors, either specific ones or exploring majors. They are important, but we'll explain the four categories of courses students take in their progress to graduation. And those four categories are general education requirements, majors, interims, and electives. They're all essential for graduation and just important for living well. For advising, we'll introduce the summer advising team as your primary academic resource and look ahead to other advising resources students can depend upon. We'll review the academic resources to know and use in addition to the summer advisors. These include the FYI tab, new student information page, the Wofford catalog, and the interactive master schedule of classes that's located in Workday. We want to ensure you that you know all about the academic responsibilities students have, such as sending AP and IB scores, as well as their transcripts that will be addressed for dual enrollment credit. We also will look ahead to students completing their first choice academic plan and saved schedule, and then prepare to register. In addition, we'll look at the dates, timelines, responsibilities for the summer, and other resources may be helpful throughout your time at Wofford, including accessibility services, advising, the registrar's office, financial aid, and athletic compliance.
Today, we want you to understand the foundational ideas for our approaches to advising. We want students and those supporting them to know the responsibilities of students and advisors under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, also known as FERPA. We'll introduce you to this new student information page in the FYI of My Wofford. We also want you to know that our email address, advising@wofford.edu, is an essential resource for questions and important information, especially for planning and registration. We want students to read advising emails carefully and write to advising@wofford.edu when they have questions about creating their proposed first choice academic plan and save schedule, and when they have questions about registering for fall 2026 courses. Wofford's commitment to liberal arts education is expressed well in the college's mission statement. Wofford's mission is to provide superior liberal arts education that prepares its students for extraordinary and positive contributions to a global society. The focus of Wofford's mission is upon fostering commitment and excellence in character, performance, leadership, service to others, in a lifelong learning. As you see, Wofford's focus is on developing the whole person for living with commitment to excellence and positive impact on individual lives and communities in the world. We know career and work are important, but we also know that individuals are more than their work. This education develops the individual's character and breadth of learning through general education requirements, elective courses, and interim coursework, as well as major specific knowledge so that Wofford graduates lead, serve, and continue to learn throughout their lives. Sometimes students enter the college focused only on their major. So it's important to know from the beginning that the curriculum has 4 components, all part of a Wofford liberal arts education. A major is required for a Wofford degree. However, the college embraces learning and growth through a wider education with applications that extend beyond and enhance the discipline-specific knowledge of the major. As students move into college, the requirements for educational institutions change significantly from high school to college. The law that allows a parent to go into a high school and ask to see attendance records, grades, and permanent records now establishes the student as the owner of the records held by the college. This is an important shift that families should discuss before the student begins college, because family members who have in the past had access to grades, schedules, attendance records, and bills do not have automatic access when the student is in college. These are privacy protected records, and in college, students own the records and grant or deny access. Family expectations for access to bills, which students normally don't complain about, or grades is a conversation to have now. Family decision-making about access should happen over the summer to reach agreements about what will be shared and not shared. To facilitate appropriate sharing of bills and midterm and final grades, Wofford has a process called proxy access. The student can log in and grant access to the people who they choose to have access to their information, such as their bills or grades. It's important to know that students can change those designations at any time, and advisors can't override that decision. So, what information can people supporting students have? Advisors can connect family members and friends with resources published by the college. We can answer questions that pertain to all Wofford students, such as at Wofford, students have to have 120 hours to graduate, or at Wofford, students have to take an interim course every January. However, if an emailer says they are a parent helping with registration, they may ask, has Stephen received his AP credit for Math 140? We can answer that question for Stephen if Stephen writes from his wofford.edu email account, but we cannot answer that question posed by an individual from a Gmail or work account who may have the student's permission to ask, but who may also be a stranger fishing for information fraudulently. We don't know, and our responsibility will be to work with the student. The summer advising team is available to students and family members alike, but we will be very careful to follow legal requirements as well as college processes appropriate for students' stages of development. It takes patience as everyone is in transition, learning a new system.
What about sharing your questions and concerns? Knowing who to consult when questions arise in a new system is one of the biggest transitions. Those of us on the advising team can direct students and family members to resources whenever it's helpful. As Provost Schmitz has said, the president or provost isn't the best resource for questions about schedules, housing, or other concerns. I know we say this a lot, but it's worth repeating. Students should make inquiries from their Wofford email account because the privacy requirements we work in. Friends and family should encourage students to email advisors over the summer. Once they're on campus, they can also set appointments to meet with other resources. Again, if they don't know whom to address, their advisor can help them identify that person. And you see on your screen the wide range of resources that we offer all of our students. These resources can answer specific questions for students and general questions about college policies and practices for others. not specific questions about an individual student's records or situations, however. Remember FERPA. As we look ahead to students' registration and beginning classes, understanding Wofford's curriculum is important. So let's chat about Wofford's strong liberal arts education. The Wofford College catalog is important for all students, including those planning their first semester, in considering transfer credit, exploration of majors, and registration in general. It's linked in my Wofford, and you can find it by searching the web for Wofford College catalog. For example, as students transition into Wofford, the summer advising team fields a lot of questions about courses required for majors. And it's important to know about major requirements for sure. In your new student information webpage, you'll find a link to suggested first courses in each major. It's important to know, however, that very few majors require or suggest that students begin in the first semester. Students majoring in chemistry or physics begin in the first semester. Students majoring in other sciences are strongly encouraged to begin in the first semester. Students majoring in a modern language begin in the first semester. But other majors like economics, computer science, accounting, philosophy, sociology, art history, English, for example, do not require that students begin in the first semester or even in the first year. If seats aren't open, there's no worry, but you may be wondering, so what courses do I take? Students must complete general education requirements to graduate, along with 4 interim courses. They must also earn 120 hours. So for our requirements-focused students, we always say that, yes, a major is required. General education courses are required. Interims are required. And hours are required. So electives, free choice courses taken out of pure interest or for breadth of learning are also essential for graduation with 120 hours. The timing can and does vary. If you're focused on a major only, then let's confer about the flexibility of thinking and planning that will serve you well in completing your Wofford degree. Students will complete these general education requirements during their Wofford career. These courses allow students to explore and develop interests beyond the major, and they add richness to students' living. Students complete general education requirements in the areas of introduction to the liberal arts, inquiry across disciplines, and civic consciousness. Those areas include subjects like English, fine arts, history, modern language other than English, literary studies, mathematics, philosophy, religious studies, social science, science, and diverse and global perspectives. How do students make sure they're not behind on their major coursework? Students always ask us that question. Remember that only a few majors require the students begin in the first semester. Now, of course, if seats are available, if there are seats open, then you can certainly enroll in major courses. But if not, again, don't worry. Students have general education requirements to complete in their 4 years too. Write to advising@wofford.edu to ask specific questions about your interests and needs. By working an email, you'll get a written response from us that you can return to, and all the members of the summer advising team will have access to the information you've been given if you continue your conversation with us. Now, let me turn things back over to Dr. Curry to chat about first-year coursework.
Thank you, Professor Gonzalez. So in the first semester, students will take between 13 to 16 hours. They may begin with the course that's a requirement for their major, or they may not, as Professor Gonzalez has just stated. They will normally take Legal 101, which is required in the first semester, which is like an intro to college or college education. We talk about things like time management, study skills. They will also take Legal 101, which is an introduction to liberal arts education. And this is also required in the first semester. And students normally fulfill their language requirement. Additionally, two additional courses may be taken. That can be a general education course, a major exploration course, or an elective. So as you're making your schedule, it will be important to complete the advising questionnaire that was a part of your onboarding process, because this will be a very valuable tool for the summer advising team as we review your academic plans for approval. Next, I want to talk briefly a little bit about learning communities. So learning communities are just a great way to get some additional resources available, learn new things, and you take one class in conjunction with another course. The American Association of Colleges and Universities describe learning communities as a high impact practice, and students who participate in learning communities experience significant educational benefits. The descriptions for learning communities will be located in the July registration drawer under the new student guide, which was shown through the onboarding process. And they normally take these two classes together, exploring issues on disciplinary levels. And for this fall, we will have two learning communities. We will have Physics 104 with Mr. Steve Zeiss and FYI 101 with Ms. Perry Henson, with the focus being on physics. We will also have Legal 101 with Dr. Ann Roderick, and Spanish 303 with Dr. Barbara Laurel. I'm sorry, with Dr. Laurel Barbas Roden. Sorry. Next, I want to talk a little bit about preparation for choosing your courses. Again, as a part of the onboarding process, you were shown the FYI tab, the new student information page. But right here, we want to take it a step further, and we would like you to pay close attention to the box that says workday, the facts, and the help guides, as these would be very, very useful for you as you are preparing to make your schedule. Looking at steps to creating a safe schedule, we want you to pay close attention to the difference between an academic plan and a safe schedule. The academic plan consists of the courses you wish to take in the semester, such as the LIBA 101 that was mentioned, the biology for sciences, because biologies also include a lab, and also a math, for example. So on the academic plan, you're listing the courses in which you would like to take. Now, let's take it one step further for the safe schedules, because a safe schedule will consist of the sections of the courses you wish to take. So, for example, for that Legal 101 course, if you would like section D, you would choose that section, and section D will have times associated with it. If you choose to take Bio 150 with a lab, the same thing. Section A and Section AF will have those times associated with it. So it's important to note that as you're choosing your courses, especially when it comes to the labs, you have to choose the lecture and the lab, or you will get an error message. And the same would be, for an example, for math. Math 140B will have a time associated with it. And it's important to note that you will be able to register directly from your saved schedule. So students should build their saved schedules off of their plan. In fact, Workday facilitates that process. If you do not use your plan, you may be deficient in the courses you need for the first semester. Students can register directly from their saved schedule, which is why you will need to have one. It will facilitate an easier process, and only you will need to build a plan and you'll only need to build a plan for the first semester. You will work with your general education or your major advisor in the future to build the remainder of your plans for your time at Wofford. The saved schedule should look like your plan, except it has the sections and the courses for which you have selected. You must submit the academic plan to have the whole release, and creating the saved schedule is highly recommended. So having the saved schedule is no guarantee that you will be able to register for all of your courses, but it will make the process a lot easier. So what are your next steps? Make sure you have completed the advising questionnaire through the onboarding process. And once you have completed the academic plan, please submit the schedule using the Request Plan Approval button at the center of the page. Your first choice academic plan will be reviewed by a member of the summer advising team, and the advising whole will be released. It's strongly recommended that students create a safe schedule. And if there are any recommendations or changes that will be needed, a member of the summer advising team will send out emails to your wofford.edu email. And again, it is important to note that the safe schedule is critical to a quick and successful registration.
So, excuse me, over the summer, students are going to have several time-sensitive tasks to complete, and it's always best to start those processes now. And of course, when you have questions about any of them, again, write to us at advising at wofford.edu. But one of the most common or popular questions that we get now at this point in the summer is, what about AP, IB, dual enrollment credit, transfer credits? How do I handle that? Well, since Wofford for AP IB, since Wofford cannot request AP or IB scores, please be sure to send them to Wofford. They should arrive early in July. Sometimes that changes, but usually we get them in July. And with registration later that month, it's important to have all the records arrive on time so that the registrar's office staff can record them and be sure your records are up to date. Okay. And just as a note, have the school or the AP service, like have them send the scores directly to the registrar's office. In terms of AP credit, Wofford offers credit for scores on courses listed on the AP score chart for scores of 4 and 5 and a score of 3 or above on the AP Calculus BC exam. In terms of IB credit, Wofford offers credit for higher level IB scores of 5, 6, and 7. We don't offer credit for standard level scores. What about dual enrollment credit? Dual, joint, or concurrent enrollment courses are those courses that students completed while in high school, but the courses were taken at an institution of higher education. Wofford College will accept approved courses earned through dual, joint, or concurrent enrollment programs. These courses are treated like any other transfer work and must be approved by our registrar. There is more detailed information available on the registrar's website. We will have links to the score chart and things like that, helpful information under the June 1st steps drawer under your FYI page. They're not there now, but they should be there soon. Otherwise, you can Google Wofford College AP scores or Wofford College dual enrollment, and that will take you to the registrar's website where you'll get all the information that you need. Now, be mindful, there are some stipulations related to the dual enrollment courses. First, the grade you had to have earned a C or better. The course has to be similar to something that Wofford teaches within the liberal arts curriculum. The coursework must be completed at an institution of higher education that has been accredited by one of the 6 regional accredited associations. So those are things that the registrar will check. Students must submit an official transcript directly from the higher education institution where the courses were completed. Those can get sent, the transcripts can get sent electronically to registrar at wofford.edu. So a high school transcript will not be enough. The only credit hours are awarded. Grades earned in those courses will not count in your GPA, but you will receive credit. And then the final decision in granting transfer credits resides with the office of the registrar. Students may want to consult those transfer equivalency website, also part of our webpage. And again, you can Google that Wofford transfer equivalency, and you'll view those items. Okay. Now, a lot of our summer questions about dual enrollment, AP and IB transfer credit. So again, even though we've offered these resources, don't hesitate to reach out to advising at wofford.edu with your responses. Okay. All right. Now, looking ahead, we're going to offer another Terrier Talk with more information that will help students complete a first choice academic plan to prepare for the 2 rounds of registration that are going to happen on July 21st, starting on July 21st for the first round, and then the second round on July 23rd. So make sure you mark those dates in your calendars now. The first choice academic plan process asks students to review the required courses at Wofford and suggested courses for their interests, and then use Workday, the Workday link in My Wofford, to help create a first choice academic plan for fall 2026. Then they're going to use that plan, the plan link, to submit it to us, the summer advising team, for review, feedback, and approval. That's our ultimate goal. Now, with approval, students' advising holds will be released. Please note that as long as your advising hold is in place, students will not be able to register. That's a really important item to note. Another note is that, as we've heard, Dr. Curry was talking earlier about the saved schedule. You should prepare at least one saved schedule, preferably 2 or 3, since you will be able to register directly from the saved schedule. If you don't have the saved schedule prepared, then you're going to be looking for courses when registration is happening. That will slow you down, and you may miss courses that you really want to take. If you have the prepared schedules, the summer advising team will also provide feedback on those schedules. All of this so that you will feel very confident in your preparation as you enter registration. So 2 notes of caution, okay? First off, every summer, we have a few students who believe that completing the first choice academic plan is all they need to do to register. But there's more. They have to submit it for review to us and then receive an email from us, the summer advising team, saying that their advising hold is released. And also, let us say once more that having a first choice saved schedule, or a plan for that matter, academic plan, does not guarantee you a seat in any course. So we strongly recommend that you have alternative saved schedules ready to go. And once you have received feedback from us and have made any necessary adjustments, changes, then the students will be ready to log into the registration system on July 21st and July 23rd to register themselves. That said, since those are the dates that we have for registration, completing the first choice academic plan by July 15th is essential. As I've mentioned, having it approved is also essential. In all this process, checking and responding to emails that you receive at your wofford.edu address is also essential. So please don't just check your Gmail account or other accounts that you use. We will contact you at your wofford.edu email address. On July 7th, we're going to offer a more detailed look at the academic plan and a Terrier Talk focus on the registration process. Please review the information linked in the FYI tab and the new student information page and plan to attend this important meeting. Write to advising@wofford.edu with questions, and we can't say this enough. You've got to check your wofford.edu email, read the notes from the advisors, and respond. All right. So to summarize things a bit for us, I'll turn things back to Ms. Bradley.
So our summary is that these are your best resources to consult. The students' wofford.edu email address, the FYI tab in My Wofford, the new student information page, and the summer advising team at advising@wofford.edu.
Thank you so much. You received a lot of great information today. And just to kind of sum things up a little bit, we want to tell you about a few important summer dates and reminders. June 2nd, there will be a Terrier Talk, or this Terrier Talk will be posted, Introduction to Advising and Saved Schedules. July 7th, you will need another Terrier Talk will be posted, What You Need to Know About Registration. July 15th, we're asking that your first choice academic plan is due. That's going to be extremely important, as Professor Gonzalez has stated. because this is how you release your advising hold. And if the advising hold is not released, you will not be able to register once the first round of registration opens. With that being said, round one of registration for fall will be July 21st and 22nd, where you can register for up to 5 hours. Round two of registration will be on July 23rd and 24th, where you can register for a maximum of 16 hours. And so again, there will be 2 rounds of registration, round one on July 21st through 22nd, and round two on July 23rd and 24th. So after the registration period closes, then the summer advising team will, for the rest of the month of July and August, the summer advising team will review schedules and make any updates. And so again, it's very important that you will check your advising, check your wofford.edu email, because that's where we will send the correspondence. And we strongly encourage you to really check those just about every day, because not only will the summer advising team send out important information, just Wofford admissions will also be sending out important information. So I would kind of just make it a habit during the months of July and August to check your Wofford email often. And lastly, on August 31st, you will have an in-person schedule review meeting with your gen ed advisor. And this is just a meeting where you'll meet your advisor, get a chance to know each other, ask questions. If you have any questions about your schedule, your advisor can answer them. And this is just a way for you to be welcome to Wofford, and also to meet all of those important people that you're going to get to know very well throughout your time at Wofford. So we often have the question, so what happens after the summer? So as students begin their first semester, they will have many advising resources open to them. And these resources are often available by appointment. So you will have your major advisors. So students can set a time to talk with their major advisor to learn more about the majors that interest them. We have pre-professional advisors for pre-health, such as Miss Mary Catherine Bradley here. And she'll be able to give you additional information about career paths and graduate or professional schools. We have career center counselors. This is the first year is the right time to learn more about internships and to develop professional skills for interviewing, for example. A lot of students explore study abroad, so students can meet with their advisors from the Office of International Programs to learn more about their programming and timing for study abroad. We have the Office of Student Success, where students can connect with first generation programming, learn about the Terrier supply closet, and consult with advisors about academic success strategies. We also have the undergraduate research and postgraduate fellowships, where students who are interested in undergraduate research, especially those summer offerings and postgraduate fellowships, can begin learning about the opportunities in the first year to see if these opportunities may be a fit for their goals. All of these offices, counselors, and other resources have information that's useful. Some of the information you may have be given may be valuable for questions that you've already considered, and some, may be for questions that you haven't considered yet. But please remember to ask your advisor whom you can talk with as these questions arise. They can refer you to the resources you need, and they'll be glad to be helpful in any way that they can. So this concludes our presentation, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact the summer advising team at advising@wofford.edu. Thank you. Welcome to Wofford, and we look forward to meeting you.